Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is many a true nerd, and welcome to Tiny Glade. And also, welcome to Dystopika, because tonight we're doing a double bill, and there's a very specific reason for that. You see, contrary to appearances, these two games are in fact incredibly bloody similar, which is they're both super chilled out builders. You know, the sort of building game where you don't have money or resources or basically any restrictions whatsoever. You can literally just put down what you want, the goal being to make something that looks nice. So, okay, how about we dive into both and see, you know, how different the end results are. Okay, immediate bonus points for Tiny Glade because this is what the sheep look like that are just wandering around aforementioned Tiny Glade, and you could pet them. And if you do, they just go bar and produce hearts, and basically 10 out of 10 game of the year. Okay, meanwhile over in Dystopika, just to confirm, there are no sheep. But then, you know, after the big Megatech chemical spill in 2107, honestly, it was probably just the kindest thing to slaughter the handful of sheep that did survive. Like, in the long run, it was probably a mercy. Just to confirm, by the way, when this game says Tiny Glade, it's not kidding. Like, the space I've got to build in is this space in the circle right here. That's it. So, okay, let's figure out what tools I've got available to me here. Okay, buildings, paths, little kind of accessories for the buildings, change the colour, change the land. Okay, it's not a huge number of tools, but here's the rather delightful thing about this, which is everything sort of interacts with everything else. So, if I slap down a tower here, because it's next to a tiny path that just started already, you know, spawned inside this area, as a result, we get ourselves, you know, a tiny door leading out onto the path. So go over to, say, a building and put that right here. And the two just really beautifully connect together. Just, with extra bricks here to indicate, you know, where they're joined. Just, this here. This is the recipe for a wonderful chill builder. The fact that, you know, all the pieces just slot together so nicely. So, okay. Okay. I think I know roughly what I want to do here, because obviously I've been given a whole three-dimensional space to play with. And if I just use the erase tool, it doesn't, like, you know, remove everything. You can instead just, like, you know, turn a building into a slightly broken down ruin by just, you know, removing little bits of it. And, okay. I think what I want to do here is, like, you know, have, from one perspective, a beautiful castle, but from the other side you can see it's actually a crumbling ruin. And, like, you know, the sheep are gonna live in it because I want these sheep to have somewhere nice to live, damn it. Okay, over in Dystopika, yeah, we're dealing with, you know, a bit more of a blank canvas here. In fact, okay, this is probably a bit hard to read initially, but what we seem to be playing with here is light, because we're looking down at a city from on high. But, like, you know, it's the future, it's a dystopia, so the city is shrouded in darkness and rain and smog, etc, etc. So these tiny specks of light are, yeah, like, you know, buildings, just small buildings that we can barely make out the light of through the smog. But there's not, like, light everywhere. There's bits of the map where there's just no light at all. Like, say, yeah, there's like a big band with barely any light along here. And what I'm thinking is, because it's a dystopia in the future, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the city in half, okay? Like, down over here, in the bottom half of the city, that's going to be the grand, rich, affluent utopia. And then, you know, up top next to all these smoking industrial plants and whatnot, that's where we put the undesirables, which is, you know, probably most people, given it's the Nightmare Dystopia future. Oh my goodness, I was just doing, you know, a tiny bit of landscape modification. If you blast the sheep off the ground by modifying ground when they're on it, they just start floating with tiny umbrellas. 10 out of cocking 10. Okay, so, now what we're going to do is put a path that leads up there. So, just have it go in this direction and, okay. The way these tools work together is just beautiful. Like, you know, turning rocks into rocky steps and whatnot. Everything just, you know, fits together so nicely. I'm kind of thinking, like, you know, maybe a small outbuilding over here. Then we've got, like, you know, the main manor house over on this bit. And, like, a really tall watchtower over on this side to keep everyone safe. By everyone, I mean, like, you know, the sheep. Because they must be protected, damn it. So yeah, this is going to be the dividing line right about here. We're going to turn this into the utopia and this into the dystopia. But because, like, you know, the whole thing is a dystopian nightmare city from the future, the utopian rich side is going to be a dystopia too. Just, you know, a different kind of dystopia. Oh, the game is one step ahead of me here. Like, you know, me and this game, we're on the same page. So, okay. Like, the big centerpiece buildings that are going to really stand out above everything, they're going to be divided into the Central Business District, Lowtown, New Eden, and Omega Corp. So, right. I'm starting to see how this is going to fit together. We're going to be needing one gigantic Omega Corp building, this huge pyramid, oh yeah, oh flippin' yeah. And then once we've got the big buildings down, we can start decorating them with, you know, billboards, because, as I say, the entire world's going to be, you know, constantly mired in darkness and smog and whatnot. So it's going to be this bright light that's going to, you know, shine out. So, oh yeah. 100%, there should definitely be, like, you know, helicopter pads right on the top of Omega Corp. So that, you know, people can ride in and out of Omega Corp without having to, you know, walk along the streets like bloody plebs. Because I feel like even though we're in the nice half of town right now, the people who work in Omega Corp, like, they consider everyone who doesn't also work in Omega Corp to be scum. So, oh, look at that. They're actually generating traffic. As I put up, like, you know, hover pads or whatnot, it literally generates hover cars that are going to create life and movement around Omega Corp. Okay, now that I like. So, okay, Omega Corp's getting, like, you know, at least 4 more of those. So just like the idea that, like, you know, as we zoom way out, you can just see little specks of light constantly rising up and arriving and leaving for Omega Corp. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's get the basics down up here. So just up down one basic building, and yeah, we can basically extend that any way we wanted to. And, okay, that's... Blimey, that sheep just went on a journey. I'm so sorry, buddy. So, yeah, at that point, we can also bring it forward and backwards, etc., etc. Though, that's a bit like, you know, flat. I feel like the better way to do this might actually be, hang about, just slide you back into the center for a second. I'm gonna put, like, 3 of them up, because then I can have, like, you know, the middle bit be slightly further back. So it looks like, you know, there's 2 wings kind of sticking out a bit to give it an irregular shape at the front, which I think is gonna be nice. And then we end up with, oh yeah. Oh, flippin' yeah. That's looking better already. So, yeah, like a central bit here with, like, you know, some crenellations on the top. And then... Okay, admittedly, that does create the problem that, you know, over here, you're not really seeing much aside from roof. But that's fine. That's all absolutely fine. And we can fix that. There's going to be a giant tower here. Like, you know, the crenellations are really just decorative, if we're honest. Oh, and this is way nicer too. Because, yeah, if we actually bring those up to this angle, oh, yeah. That looks way better. And then just bring a path to the front door. So there's a lovely big central door. Though, okay, it's not quite central enough. In fact, okay, if you make the path wider, the door just gets bigger to accommodate it. That's lovely. Then we'll just, you know, clear out these plants for the time being. We'll replace you later. Okay, let's start filling out the map a little bit, because, yeah, what I've done is I've put the districts over to a central business district. So now it's like, you know, buildings that look a bit corporate headquarters-y. And alright, when you slant these up, they generate a sea of light around them. I love it. And those extra lights that these create, right, I can activate all of them to make this, you know, a really well-lit area. Gotcha, so okay. Straight away zoom out a bit. You understand that this is the big, bustling, lively bit of town. Right, now as a result, we can start putting, yeah, some lovely adverts on the side of these here buildings. Then just slap down a few more. Oh, yeah. Oh, flippin' yeah. That's nice. That's good right there. Just a few, like, you know, space blimps or something doing the rounds, etc., etc. Though I did also see, hang about, yes, like a hover pad, but it looks like it clings to the side of a building, not the top. So, right, we can have, like, you know, people arriving to their offices direct, don't need to come in through the front door like a pleb, which just make, you know, a bit more life and movement around this bit of the world. Oh, but here's interesting. If you put, like, you know, buildings nearby to each other, they actually generate more buildings nearby. Okay, well, we're going to be, you know, making this much more dense in that case. Let's just, you know, squeeze in as many buildings as we can get away with. Oh, and I found the most important thing too, which is, yes, one of the things you could put down is supposed to be, like, you know, an indicator for where traffic is. So that, like, literally creates huge amounts of traffic. Oh, that's nice. So, alright, we can properly fill the skies above the business district by just laying down a whole bunch of these lovely sexy bastards. Just rotate that, so, you know, there's plenty of traffic coming in every direction. Though, I feel like it should, like, you know, have a grid system, because even if we've got flying cars, there's still going to be traffic jams, because, like, you know, the air traffic lanes are really, really overcrowded. Oh, yeah. Put all that together with a giant handful of ads. Just mix it together, you know, big ads, small ads, a little kind of, you know, a bunch of ads put together, and oh yeah, now that's a good Nightmare Future business district. Right next to Omega Corp, which, yes, I've been very careful to give Omega signs to. They're the only building that gets the Omega signs, damn it. Right, next up, a giant tower next to the building here. And yeah, I think what we need to do is make this flat. And then, can I actually put a further tower on top here? Oh, I can't put it on top, but I can slap it on the side and oh, now that I think is pretty bloody good. Okay, putting walls on the slope kind of gives the impression that it's like, you know, broken down already. That kind of gives me the broken down in the middle of the countryside vibes. That's pretty good, actually, yeah. Maybe just, you know, knock the odd hole in it here and there. Beautiful. Just to, you know, slightly reinforce the feeling. Good. I'm also feeling like, yeah, actually, I want that to be a further small, square, flat-topped tower, actually coming out of the central area. So, hang on, just make sure that's all properly lined up. That's pretty nice, actually. Just make sure it's all, like, you know, completely lined up with the building. Maybe not quite that tall, though. A tiny bit lower. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Oh, here's cute, by the way. If you put a building right on top of a path, it doesn't become, like, you know, a building anymore. It just becomes, like, you know, a little portico that you can walk through. Like, you know, maybe this is an old ruined guardhouse or something. Oh, yeah, just curl the walls in a tiny bit, and this is 100% what used to be the guardhouse, but now it's, like, you know, completely fallen into ruin. Oh, I just had an amazing idea, by the way. So, the divider between the two halves of the city, what if the reason it's got, like, you know, no lights whatsoever is because it used to be a river that ran through the city, but now it's nothing but, like, you know, toxic sludge or whatnot. So, in order to remind people it used to be a river, there is a beautiful blue whale thing that we can have set up as, like, you know, a projection in the air. As a way of saying, hey, this is what whales used to look like. We used to have those before that whole unfortunate business with the Megatech spill, which was nobody's fault, as was concluded by the independent inquiry, and I wouldn't suggest otherwise because, you know, Megatech does keep an eye on what people are saying about that whole situation. Alright, speaking of this side of the river, let's actually slap down, yes, some lovely low town buildings. That's pretty good. So, yeah, presumably these are supposed to be, like, you know, high density apartments or something. Though, okay, we can't have too many of them because I can't help but notice they're causing a light to turn on. Though, we can sort of, like, you know, partially erase the worst of it. But I do quite like that, you know, because we've got less concentrated buildings and I've not set up those road structures, there's traffic here, but it's a bit more like all over the place. Like, no one's actually bothering to enforce traffic laws this side of what used to be the river, because nobody bloody cares. And yeah, going back to the big picture, we've got, yeah, loads of smoking industrial chimneys over on this side, there's a lovely gap here, and then the business district. So, right. Time for, like, you know, the nice bit of town down in this corner. Now, in terms of, yeah, making the rear a ruin, what I'm going to need to do is, yeah, put extra buildings on the back purely to ruin them. And the reason I say that is because, yeah, if I, like, you know, just break down the wall here, we also lose the roof, which I want to have at the front. So undo that, don't worry about that. Instead, yeah, we're going to need extra buildings at the back, purely so we can, like, you know, wreck them. Here we go. Build a new tower back here. Lower the height of the tower to roughly match the roof. And then just do a tiny bit of damage to the tower. And now it's like, you know, a broken down old dining room or something. Oh yeah, now this at the back, this is now, you know, properly ruined and overgrown. You'd never know it. From the front still looks really good, but at the back, oh yeah, this is what I was looking for. Right, time to start decorating, just, you know, put the odd window dotted about here. This window's not a great window, to be honest, like, you know, it kind of looks straight out onto the tower, but okay, I love that some windows at random just have, you know, flower baskets or things being, you know, dried outside them. That's delightful. Then, obviously, we're going to have some lanterns around the door. Right, then just slap down some gardens. Obviously, this is going to be, you know, a nice little area to walk past as you're going up towards the castle proper. Lovely. In a perfect world, we need, yeah, one path going up the rock face, though, ooh, that might be, you know, a bit on the steep side, actually. Hang about, could we fix that? There we go, just adjust the height a tiny bit there, got some steps leading up to the tower proper. Now you definitely need some windows, by the way. Like, you know, it would be very rude to trap the princesses we're obviously trapping in these towers without giving them at least, you know, some way to enjoy the view, because bloody hell, it's a nicer view. Also, the tower should have, like, you know, a back door leading into these here ruins. Like, I'm not really sure, like, you know, what this would have been once upon a time. Maybe this was, like, you know, the kitchens that go into the dining room that's over here. Oh, and crucially, now we've set up, you know, these lovely lanterns and whatnot. Let's just very quickly move a timer along a bit. Oh, now that's cocking lovely. Though, admittedly, yes, the fact the lights have come on does kind of undermine the whole, it looks like it's inhabited from the front, but it's just an illusion because it's ruined at the back. But, okay, let's just say it's bloody haunted. Oh, yeah. Oh, flippin' yeah. Feast your eyes on this. So, right, what I've done is I've put a whole bunch of, you know, lovely, big, futuristic, smooth-lined, new-ed buildings up, like, all over the place. And what I kind of, you know, imagine is going on in this district is it's its own unique type of hell. Because, sure, there's, like, you know, a tiny bit less smog and whatnot, but it never stops. Like, I really wanted this to be the most overly lit area in the entire city. Like, wall to wall, it is nothing but ads all the time. You've got, like, you know, holographic displays, advertisements on every building. You would never get a moment's peace. It is constant light and noise. Then what struck me as a really nice touch is I've set up a handful of buildings, like, you know, right around the Omega structure, and they've got no ads whatsoever. Like, you know, there's barely any traffic around there, there's no light, there's no noise. People who live in New Eden might think that they've got it much better than the people over the river. But, you know, to the people who live in Omega Towers, basically everybody is equally below them. So there we go, we've got the business district, we've got New Eden, where people move when, you know, they think they're moving up in the world, but really, yeah, the actual people who have made it, they live in Omega Towers. Then we've got the Grand River Memorial, just, you know, reminding everyone of what used to be there. And then at the far side, we've got Lowtown, where sure you've got to deal with, you know, the industrial pollution and whatnot, but I suspect some people there might actually be significantly happier than the folks who have spent a bit too long living in the never-ending light and noise of New Eden. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that there is our double bill, Tiny Glade and Dystopika, and okay, you've got to say, the end results are a bit on the different side, I will freely admit. But you want to know what's really nice about both of these games, which is, both of them, right now, you can play the demos for free. That's exactly what I've done right here, which is why, you know, both of them are a little bit feature not complete. But yes, indeed, you can play either or both of these right now. I shall link to them in the description below, completely for free on Steam, because oh, I do just enjoy, like, you know, a building tinker toy, where you can just dive in and make something. I find it deeply, deeply relaxing, though, okay, maybe that's not the right term when we're talking about Dystopika, but yes, indeed, 2 tiny playthings for you this evening, and if you'd like to, you can experience both for free right flipping now, so I'd say you can hardly complain about that, and yes, indeed, maybe when the full versions come out, I might well give them a look-see again. We shall flipping see. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Tiny Glade and Dystopika. Thank you very much, and goodbye. I've created a small problem in my road system, which is, it's literally impossible for anyone to ever go back into town. And this building shall be where we produce our zebras. And this much taller building next door is naturally where we produce the giraffes. Does anyone remember how the road system went? I think it was something like this.